My old man had three simple rules for life: work hard, avoid trouble, travel, and exotic women. Problem is, there's not much left to do after that. Tick the boxes, pat yourself on the back, and then what? Settle down? Not for us. Blokes like me, hungry, reckless, and wired for more. We're the generation built for chaos, desperate for the next big thrill. The unknown, we don't tiptoe toward it. We dive in, head first, fist swinging, knowing full well it's gonna hurt. But that's the point, isn't it? The hurt, the risk, the madness, that's where life happens. Anything less, that's just wasting time. Life on the edge, that's where the good stories are. The ones you tell over cheap whiskey or scrawled into postcards you'll never send. And me, I've always been the idiot chasing that edge, diving headfirst into the mess, the madness, the unexpected. It's not about travelling, it's about how you travel. Welcome, my friends, to the How Not to Travel podcast. This isn't your Pinterest travel guide. This is where every journey is a high wire act, every decision a coin toss, and every stranger a potential accomplice in the chaos. So let the games begin. Picture this, a freezing night in Islington, the kind that bites through your coat and your mood. The party I'd just left, dead on arrival, barely had a pulse before it flatlined. So I ended up in Hoxton, pushing through the heavy doors of Siegfried, a bonkers neo-gothic bar that looked like Dracula went clubbing. Inside it was chaos, neon lights dripping off a massive fake tree, music thumping. It was like it had something to prove. And that's where she was, Miss Smith, standing under the glow, cool as a hitman at a confession. Game on. She wasn't just a woman, she was an event, a brunette with dark rimmed glasses and a presence like a jazz riff, sharp, seductive, and impossible to pin down. And so the night took a turn. Numbers exchange. A week later, and I'm knee-deep in her world. A gastronomic rabbit hole, to be exact. Hidden noodle bars in Hackney. Lasca so good, it can make a grown man weep. Miss Smith was a food oracle, spouting wisdom on Vietnamese cuisine like some sort of culinary shaman. Dinner spilled onto the streets of London's neo-soaked underworld, the city buzzing like a live wire. I decided to test her. Ever think about leaving this place? I asked, picturing her with me in some sweaty, chaotic corner of Southeast Asia. She didn't even blink. Leave? She smirked, lighting her cigarette with a kind of swagger you can't fake. London owns me. High society, back streets, boardrooms. I know every predator in this jungle. She moved through it all like a captain steering through a storm. Calm, ruthless, untouchable. And me, I was already sunk. We parted ways under the buzz of the neon lights, each of us lost sailors on our own stormy seas. As a result, I was left with the unshakable urge to chase the horizon. That night, my dreams were a storm, a whirlwind of images. Australia's rugged landscapes, National Geographic covers, screaming adventure. My late Nan's voice echoed in my head, urging me to live the dream she never could. So I bought a one-way ticket to Australia, quitting my junior architect job and cutting the parental cord. Landing in Singapore was like stepping into a fever dream. A dishevelled backpacker in a posh hotel. Raffles, my boss's suggestion, seemed like a good start. Accordingly, I found myself face to face with a local conman, a devil in a suit, who dragged me into the city's underbelly. Hours later, I'd had enough. 50 quid demanded for services rendered. I threw him a fiver and melted into the night. And so, as I wandered along the riverside, under Singapore's electronic trees, that's where she appeared. Hayley, blonde knockout, with a past as wild as the Wolf of Wall Street, and a new hustle as a missionary. Yeah, you heard that right. Two expats thrown together by the city's buzzing, restless loneliness. We found ourselves at the riverside, the neon lights bouncing off the water as we shared dinner. Plates piled with spicy noodles, conversation flowing, as easy as the Singapore River beside us. Her laughter, sharp and alive, cutting through the humid night like a jazz solo. Over drinks, her story unfolded. A high-speed life on Goldman Sachs's floors, ordeals, decadence and disaster. She lived fast, burned bright, and me, I was hooked. The night took a turn after dinner by the river, the city pulling us into its madness. One minute we're swapping stories over noodles. The next, we're crammed into a backstreet karaoke bar. Neon lights flickered like a dodgy rave. The air thick with booze and bad decisions. That's where Hayley, the so-called missionary, became something else entirely. She grabbed the mic like she owned it, turned into a siren on stage. Her voice, it stopped the room dead. Even the hedge fund lads in the corner, cocky suits who'd been shouting all night, were transfixed. For a few minutes, she had us all under her spell. Pure magic. But all magic fades. By the end of the night, the spell broke. She left for her mission, and I stayed chasing my own unwritten story. Different roads, same city, and a night I wouldn't forget. The next night, I ended up at the docks, pulled in by the racket of a rowdy expat party that echoed off the water. That's where I ran into the Scouse trio, 2 blonde sisters and their brother, all mouth and no brakes. They didn't just walk in, they stormed the place. Shots were going down like water. The music hammered like it was out for blood, and the whole night started spinning off its nut. The Liverpool lot became my tour guides through the city's maze of bars, each one louder, crazier and messier than the last. Every laugh felt like a dare, every glance a challenge. Time gone, blurred into a frenzy of booze, beats and bad decisions. By dawn, I was a state, half naked, head pounding, scrambling to pack for my flight. Reality came crashing in, but the night was a riot. With my rucksack barely holding together, I stumbled into a taxi. Singapore's madness was behind me, but Australia loomed large. A Greyhound bus, Byron Bay, and the promise of wild hostels, drug addicts and more tales waiting to unfold. Therefore, my journey wasn't just beginning, it was gaining momentum. This is the How Not to Travel podcast, where chaos is a compass and the ride is only getting wilder. So buckle up, my friends. The road ahead is dark, unpredictable, and full of stories to tell.